Have you ever wondered what happens when the smoke of war clears? What is the aftermath of battles fought, not just on the battleground, but in the corridors of power? The reality can be a grim tapestry woven from threads of displacement, destruction, and blatant violation of human rights. Unseen consequences of war that linger far longer than the echoes of gunfire. Consider the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas, a battle that has left indelible scars on the face of humanity. The landscape is marred by extensive damage, and the air is heavy with the loss of innocent lives. Homes have become rubble, dreams have turned into nightmares, and the fabric of society has been torn asunder. But the physical devastation is just one aspect. There are invisible wounds too. The fear and trauma that gnaw at the hearts of those who have lost everything. The helplessness of seeing your world crumble around you and knowing there's nothing you can do to stop it. And then there is the violation of human rights, the very principles that are supposed to safeguard the dignity and worth of every individual. In this conflict, they seem to have been forgotten, trampled under the boots of soldiers and lost in the noise of gunfire. In the face of such devastation, one critical question remains unanswered. Who is held accountable for these war crimes? To answer this question, we need to step back and examine the timeline of events that have led to this moment. The saga begins on October 7, 2023, when the Israeli government, under Defense Minister Gallant, took severe measures against atrocities committed by Hamas. The measures included cutting off food and water supply to Gaza, an act considered a war crime by international standards. The Israeli government's actions were in violation of international law and even contradicted the Israeli Defense Force's own code of conduct. This emerging scorched earth doctrine aimed to eliminate Hamas, but risked sparking a backlash against innocent civilians. The international community remained largely silent, with the US and Europe choosing not to publicly condemn Israel's actions. This silence mirrors a broader trend of lack of accountability for war crimes when endorsed by powerful nations. Such parallels can be seen in Donald Trump's endorsement of war crimes and Putin's actions in Ukraine. Fast forward to today, and the stakes have escalated. Israel's leaders, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, are growing concerned about potential International Criminal Court (ICC) arrest warrants over actions taken in the war with Hamas. Netanyahu stated that Israel will not accept any attempt by the ICC to undermine its right of self-defense, while Foreign Minister Israel Katz fears the warrants could boost Hamas morale but remain unlikely to affect senior Israeli officials. The ICC prosecutor has promised to scrutinize actions of all military parties involved in the war. The potential warrants could complicate Israeli officials' travel to countries accepting ICC jurisdiction, further escalating the situation. Now, with the ICC involved, the threat of war crime charges hangs heavily over the heads of Israeli officials, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The ICC, with its mandate to prosecute individuals for international crimes, has Prime Minister Netanyahu and other Israeli officials in its sights. The court is considering charges of war crimes, particularly for implementing a starvation strategy in Gaza. This strategy, which includes cutting off food and water supply to civilians, is viewed as a violation of international law and the Israeli Defense Force's code of conduct. The Israeli government, on the other hand, is standing firm. It argues against the ICC's jurisdiction, claiming it does not recognize the court's authority. Prime Minister Netanyahu defends these actions as self-defense, a stance that may not hold up under the ICC's scrutiny. However, Palestine's membership in the ICC grants the court authority over crimes committed in its territories. This could bring a new dimension to the proceedings and further complicate the situation for Israeli officials. The potential charges have broader implications beyond the individuals involved. They could limit the travel of the accused officials and impact international support for Israel. This situation is not only a legal battle, but also a test of international law and its ability to hold powerful individuals accountable. If these charges are filed, they could significantly alter the political landscape and set a precedent in holding powerful individuals accountable for their actions during a war. Facing the possibility of charges, the road ahead for Israeli officials remains uncertain. With the International Criminal Court's looming scrutiny, the stakes have never been higher. These potential charges could not only limit the travel of the accused, but also may influence international support for Israel, creating a geopolitical ripple effect. The charges at hand may cause a shift in Israel's internal politics as well. Leaders may be forced to reevaluate their strategies and approach to handling conflicts, with the global eye focused on their actions. The potential for accountability could lead to a reassessment of the nation's defense tactics, especially when civilian lives hang in the balance. The International Criminal Court's decision could set a precedent, reinforcing the notion that no individual, no matter their rank or influence, is above international law. This could act as a deterrent for future leaders, encouraging them to think twice before implementing measures that could potentially harm innocent lives. As we navigate these uncertain times, the hope for justice for the victims of this conflict persists. Only time will tell how this chapter in history will unfold.